Our next speaker, his speech title is How the Blinch Stole Toastmasters. Speech time 3 to 5 minutes. Purpose of the speech is to entertain. Many years ago, one of our former members, the late distinguished Toastmaster Peter Butts, wrote a parody of the famous holiday children's book, How the Blinch Stole Christmas. Peter passed away suddenly this past October, and tonight, our next speaker will honor him by reciting the parody and keeping the tradition alive. Please welcome Matt Sherwood.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. How the Blinch Stole Toastmasters by Peter Butts, distinguished Toastmaster. Every True down in Trueville liked Toastmasters a lot, but the Blinch, who lived just south of Trueville, did not. The Blinch hated Toastmasters, the whole Toastmasters organization. Now, don't ask why. No one quite has an explanation. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that the news only showed light. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or the news, he stood there brooding, hating the truths, staring down from his hut with a bitter, blinchy frown at the neat, tidy houses below in their town. Knowing every True in Trueville by the beach was busy now preparing a Toastmasters speech. And they're hanging their banner, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's the meeting, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Blinch fingers drumming. I must find some way to keep Toastmasters from coming. For tomorrow he knew the officers and their president would go and rouse every Trueville resident. They'd file into their Toastmaster meeting, awaiting table topics and cream tarts for eating. There would even be speakers competing. The Blinch snorted and grumbled under his hat. They'll make a great racket, and I won't stand for that. Then the Trues, old and young, would get up and speak. And they'd speak, 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 speak. They'd speak for what would seem like a week. Surely symptomatic of a bunch of weirdo freaks. And then they do something he liked least of all. All Trues down in Trueville, the short and the tall, would busily write individual evaluations. This certainly aroused his supreme exasperation. As the Blinch pondered the Toastmasters organization, the more deeply he craved its obliteration. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop Toastmasters from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Blinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Blinch laughed in his throat. And he made a distinguished Toastmasters badge and a new sport coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Blinchy gem. With this coat and badge, I'll look just like a DTM. Then he loaded some bags and plotted his prank in a ramshackle Ford while filling its tank. Then the Blinch said, away, and the Ford started down toward the homes where the Trues lay a snooze in their town. All their curtains were drawn, dark quiet filled the air. All the Trues were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Blinch hissed, and he picked open the door, empty bags in his fist. The Trues' distinguished club ribbons were hung in a row. These ribbons, the Blinch grinned, are the first thing to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a gloating smile, snapping up Toastmaster trappings like a demonic crocodile. Manuals and bulletins, timing lights and pins, ballots and programs, Toastmaster moccasins. He filled his bags and dragged them across the floor. Then the Blinch, one by one, threw them out the door. He piled the bags into his Ford with a dreadful manner. And now, grinned the Blinch, I will tear down that club banner. The lectern and gavel were the last things he stole, leaving nothing to help the Trues reach their goal. Then he did the same thing to the other Trues' places and committed burglary and other disgraces. It was 15:15 dawn as the Trues still snored. As the Trues still snored, he packed it up with the trophies, and he packed up his Ford. The trophies, the ribbons, the flip charts, the easels, the pointers, the minutes, the cream tarts. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Trues, he was blinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Toastmasters is coming. Pooh-pooh to the Trues. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will open a minute or two. Then the Trues down in Trueville will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Blinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Blinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the tide, so low and quiet as the Trues walked outside. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Trueville. The Blinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every True down in Trueville gave an invocation, joined in chorus for the pledge with inspiration, followed by thoughtful and earnest evaluation. He hadn't stopped Toastmasters from coming. They came. Somehow or another, they came just the same. And the Blinch, with his blinched feet atop of the hill, stood puzzled and puzzling. Why would they come still? They came without ribbons. They came without pins. They came without banners or Toastmaster moccasins. And he puzzled some time till his puzzler was sore. Then the Blinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Toastmasters, he thought, need no district store. Maybe their organization perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Trueville they say that the Blinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't quite feel so tight, he drove with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back their manuals and his inspiration, and he himself, the Blinch, gave the general evaluation. Happy holidays, Sales Mastery Club 61A, Madam Toastmaster.